You asked for a Bazi Astrology insight into Alexei Navalny, hoping I am saying his name correctly. This is the Russian, some may say spy, some may say revolutionary, somebody that was speaking against Putin. Well, you can't do that, right? Not in Russia. And in some democracies, you can protest and speak against your leader of your country without being thrown in jail and basically tortured to death. And so you all had asked for me to do a Bazi Astrology reading on Alexei, and that is what I am offering you today. My name is Lydia. This is the Feng Shui and Bazi Astrology channel. If this is something that is interesting to you, please subscribe and follow so you don't miss a single video. All right, so this chart is an interesting one to unpack. There are some obvious things that jumped out at me that I am going to share with you. He was born June 4th, 1975 at 1330. His birth chart is a Yang fire dragon, the month of Yin water snake, the day of Yin fire pig, and the hour of Yin fire sheep. Whole lot of fire, yes. And actually, how much fire did this guy have? Let's call it 59% of his 5 elements is his own element. He had a trace amount of wood, that's what nourishes him, a balanced amount of his output earth, basically no metal, 2%, and balanced water, 20%. Now that's an interesting placement because the weakest element in his 5 elements being between 2 balanced elements, that 2% probably is nourished, but at the same time is pulled into the water. So it might be a little more than 2%, but it's very weak. In addition to that metal being so weak with so much fire as what rules it really shows weakness of lungs and the ability to have good lung health, right? Good respiration. All right, so when we look at this chart, this is someone who is a humanitarian, has a strong drive to succeed, gifted orator, quick with his words, a leader, independent, makes alliances easily. So this is someone who can rally the people together. Listen to what I'm saying. I am speaking on behalf of the Russian people that we want to get out from under the reign of this dictator, right? He gets involved in risky activities. He's emotionally volatile. You kind of need a little of that, right? Just to get yourself out there and get people listening to you, you've got to be kind of extreme. Fixed mindset, stubborn, myopic view. This is the way I see it. Get in line with me. We're going towards the future. May we all move towards the future, regardless of the politicians leading our countries right now. Our number one objective, my friends, is innovation, progressive, innovative movement towards the future. We have got to get out from under these old, antiquated, top-down authority, patriarchal systems of the past. They don't serve us any longer, and we're all done with it. Yeah. He's a planner, coordinator, organizer, family-oriented. I'm really sorry for his beautiful wife. And yet these are the risks we take. He has the blade in his month the 5 blade in his month of the snake. The snake in his month is the enemy of his day pillar, the pig. This also shows up in other charts that I have recently done, including Frida Kahlo, which was the most bizarre because hers was so literal. So literal. Now, if he were stabbed in the back, that would also be literal. But if you ask me, this placement is the first red flag that this man was going to meet with injury, basically injury in his life. This is a dangerous placement. So for someone who is going to be outspoken and challenging authority, it's like poking the bear, man. Literally. Didn't mean to actually say it like that, but there it was. Freudian slip. All right, so aside from that, we noticed, I know you noticed, that he is born in the year of a dragon. Fire dragon, man. That is amped up. I am here to lead, to innovate, to dream and inspire people. Yeah. And the pig as his day is like, everybody's going to love this guy. People are going to rally around him because he's easygoing. He's got this charisma. And the dragon's got magnetism. Come on. Now, he's been poisoned. He spent months in isolation. What we're looking at is a bunch of stuff going on. First of all, in 2016, he moved into a luck cycle of a yang earth dog. The dog, being the enemy of the dragon, brought in action. Action. For somebody with so much fire, being given this much earth is like being handed clay on steroids. Let's make, let's create, let's innovate, let's inspire. Let us rebel, retaliate, rise up, and have a revolution. That is the period of his life he was in. 2016. So he had gotten through a lot of this luck cycle. And this is at the root connecting with people. Dynamic personality with so much independence and sovereignty with himself. There is caution to his health. Yeah. Now, interesting, the luck cycle of the dog challenges his year. It's not as bad as the day, and it doesn't show up in his career, his hour. But the year that we're in of a yang wood dragon is banging up against this dog. So now we've got a double whammy. Okay, we've got a big fight going on here, right? What is the dragon? The dragon also says revolution, rebellion, rising up, changing, change, massive, drastic change. So in a lot of years, a lot of ways, this year was magnifying the story he's been living since 2016, because both the dragon and the dog are yang earth. This is why there's a conflict. Boom, it's like two mountain ranges banging into each other. And this speaks of harm to him. There is harm to him. So when we look at this, the dragon and the dog hitting against each other comes after his fire. It also comes after water. But I think the most challenged here, because he has a fire pattern in his chart, is that you've got something that is injuring his own element. And this is like a fake follow self chart. There's so much of it. In addition, the luck cycle of the dog is also causing a penalty to his sheep in his hour. This is causing stress that eats away at the self, because that's what stress does. It eats you alive. Okay. I don't need to wax verbose on that. There's thousands of videos that can explain all of that to you, right? All right. So then, in addition to this, we've got, what else was going on? Oh, so, his month of the snake is an important player in this, because the day he died was the day of, we've got our year down, right? So that was the month of Yang Fire Tiger. Yang Fire Tiger month, and the day of Yang Metal Dog. Okay, so the dog coming in. Now we've got two dogs. We've got the year of the dragon, his year of the dragon. This is so much conflict all coming in. That Yang Metal coming up against his Yang, the fire and the metal banging up against each other. This almost feels to me like it could be that he was assassinated. They just shot him dead. The other thing, that's what comes to mind. Blunt force trauma to the head, something. So anyway, all this to say, there is a lot of conflict. The month of the tiger for him really speaks of law, the government, prison. It speaks of rebellion, taking action, change, transformation, and loss of wealth, loss of identity, challenged identity. None of this feels good. None of this feels good. And I would say that with the tiger in this month, banging up against what? Causing a harm to the snake. And we've talked about this many times, that with a dragon and the snake are a partial penalty, causing accidents, injury, illness, and yes, lawsuits, and also death. Okay, so you've got that. You have the month that he died, the month of his life. You have the year of his life and the year we're in. You have the dog that he was in his luck cycle, and the dog of the day he died. All of these are individual and collective obstacles, penalties, conflict. And then you add that blade in the month to just finish the whole thing. This is a chart that is greatly challenged by this year, and how things line up the way they do really shows how everything can change in a single day. Everything can change by a month or a year. When our chart is so afflicted that the day master simply cannot hang on. I send blessings to him. May we all enjoy the freedom of speech, the freedom of sovereignty of our own individual bodies, the sovereignty of our own individual health, wealth, and well-being. That none of us would ever be muted, silenced, or imprisoned for speaking out against what we believe in and the injustices we see in our world. The next 20 years, and certainly this year, we will see more disruptors. Thank you to the disruptors in our world. Thank you for those that have the courage, the bravery to stand up for those of us who don't seem to have that ability, and that's okay. But may we get in line with them. Yeah, because our world is ready for a transformation to a much more progressive, innovative, and inclusive world. And definitely with freedom. So, Alexei Navalny, thank you so much. And blessings to his family, to his wife, and to his followers. May his cause continue. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Until next time, be well.